What is up, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast, my first solo podcast here on YouTube. Oh my God, I am literally so excited, and I'm really looking forward to the conversation that we are going to have today because, look, if you are a person who sets goals in the new year like me, I want to help you make this year actually different than years in the past where you have maybe felt come December disappointed in yourself, frustrated in yourself because you didn't actually bring to fruition the goals that you had set in the beginning of the year. I don't know if you know this, but the second Friday in January is literally dubbed as Quitter's Day because that is the day that most people abandon their New Year's resolutions. 2 weeks into the new year, and people are already quitting on their goals. I don't want you to be one of those people. So I'm going to share with you today 5 things that you can do that will actually make 2026 different so that you can truly bring your goals and your dreams to fruition. First things first, we're going to need to work on managing your catastrophic thinking. And what I mean by this is we need to stop making mountains out of molehills. You know how one little thing goes wrong and all of a sudden you feel like you are spiraling out of control and it feels like your day is just complete shit because something terrible happened in the morning. Maybe you spilled your coffee, maybe you dropped your breakfast. I don't know what it is, but we turn the smallest things into these big catastrophic events. Maybe, like me, the beginning of 2026 has not started exactly as you hoped that it would. Look, the first week of this year has been hard for me. I was not looking forward to the first Monday of 2026 being the day that I had to celebrate. And yes, we did celebrate, but celebrate the life of my best friend who literally tragically passed away back in December. I did not want to start the beginning of the year in that energy. Would I have loved to have left that in 2025? Absolutely. But unfortunately, life doesn't always go the way that we want it to go. Then the next day I had to take my cat to the vet and I found out he's blind. My poor little Asher baby cannot see anything. And I see his behavior changing. I see him more stressed and more anxious. And that really hurts me and makes me sad. And then on Thursday, my mom had a huge rheumatology appointment and she finally got a diagnosis for her autoimmune disease. And it's not good. It's going to cost us thousands and thousands of dollars out of pocket for her to receive the treatment that she needs. She's going to have to get weekly infusions for months on end, similar to chemotherapy. And in addition to whatever's going on with her autoimmune wise, she also is at severe risk for heart attack and stroke based on some things that they saw on a CAT scan. The first week of this year has been shit for me. And when I talk about managing our catastrophic thinking, what I mean by that is not deciding that because the first week of the year maybe didn't go exactly as you hoped it would, that 2026 now has to be a wash and it's just impossible for you to achieve your goals. The truth and reality of life is that bad things are going to happen. Hard things are going to happen, but we do not have to allow one singular moment to define what our day is going to look like. We don't have to allow one singular day to define what our week is going to look like, or 1 week to define our month, or 1 month to define our year. Something that has truly profoundly changed my life is being able to be a woman who wakes up every single day and decides, today I wipe the slate clean. Today I decide that I'm going to have a positive attitude. I'm going to feel hopeful and I'm going to leave yesterday where it belongs. Does that mean that you don't carry problems forward with you ever? Of course not. You're a human being and feelings linger and realities are realities. And sometimes things are hard and they're things that you need to deal with. But I want you to work this year on managing your catastrophic thinking and not allowing one tiny moment, one bad day, one bad moment, one bad week, one bad month to define you, to define what you are capable of achieving this year, because you are so capable of achieving everything that you want, but not if you continue to make mountains out of molehills. The second thing that we'll need to do this year, if we truly want to make 2026 a year that we actually achieve the things that we want, is we have to learn to embrace and accept the duality that exists in life. I don't know if you recognize this to be true about yourself, but the way that you show up in your life is very much so impacted by the way that you feel. You ever get out of bed and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in the best mood ever. And you realize that your day continues to go well. Your day continues to create more of what you want to experience. And on the flip side of that, maybe you wake up and you're having a really shit day. You'll notice that the day continues to spiral in that direction. We have to begin to realize that our actions follow our emotions. But what so many people struggle with is accepting the fact that multiple emotions can exist within us at the same time. Last night, Oz and I recorded the first video episode, which hopefully you watched. If you didn't, you should go back and watch it. But we recorded the first video episode for the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. And when we went to bed, I was feeling so grateful and so happy and so excited and just so appreciative for everything that he offers to me in my life. And so we're laying in my bed and we're looking at my Instagram feed and we're looking at all the projects that we've done together, all the things that we've created together. And I was so happy. And as we're going through my Instagram feed, which literally is like a diary of my life, a number of posts pop up about Michelle. And immediately my heart starts to ache and I start to feel sadness and grief. And I started crying. And I said to him, I don't know if I'm crying right now because I'm so happy or if it's because I'm so sad. And it's so fascinating to truly allow multiple emotions to exist within you at the same time. And I share this because you can be a person who decides which of the emotions that are existing within me right now are the emotions that I want to focus on. Do I want to focus on what's sad, what hurts, what makes me feel miserable, and allow that to be the direction in which your life spirals downward? Or do you want to be a person who focuses on what's working, what feels amazing, how your life is actually so full of blessings and what there is to be grateful for, and allow your emotions to follow that direction and spiral upward? You are so in control of so much in your life, but so often we hand our power over to the emotions that we feel, especially the negative ones. I know that there are going to be moments throughout the course of 2026 that hurt, that make you feel sad, that make you wonder, why is this happening to me? That make you question, am I capable of continuing to show up? But at the same time, if you are willing to look for them, I bet that you would find that there are also happy emotions that are existing within you. And I don't want you to give all of yourself to the negativity that exists in your life, because when you do that, when you give all of your power to the negative emotions, what happens is you end up spiraling in that negative direction and your actions are going to match the way that you're feeling. And if your actions are in alignment with you not feeling good, you better believe that you're not going to achieve the things that you want in 2026. So this year, I want you to embrace the duality, recognize that good and not so good can exist at the same time. And where you choose to put your energy and effort is your decision. The next thing that we need to do in 2026, if we truly want this year to be different, is we not only have to accept failure, I want you to this year invite failure in. I want you to open your heart to failing. I want you to be willing to try so much that your failure is inevitable. This year, I promised myself, because in 2025, I did not. This year, I promised myself that I was going to set goals that made my stomach hurt just a little bit. And here we are participating in them. We are following through. We are executing. We are doing it. I did this year for the first time ever. I ran a paid ad for Silver Lining. And if I'm being completely honest with you, which I always will be, it was a complete flop. It was a complete failure. I think I paid $150, $170. Actually, no, I think I paid $225 to run this ad for 1 week. I made 2 sales, $55 each. So I'm not the best at mental math. You might not be either, but I think we both know and can tell that's a loss. I didn't actually make any money. And I could be embarrassed about that. I could be like, oh my gosh, that means ads would never work for me. Or I can decide to take a look at what happened, extract the facts, learn from it, implement, grow, and improve. And that is what I am choosing to do in 2026. I don't believe that I am meant to be good at every single thing that I start for the first time. And I truly think this is something that trips so many people up when it comes to achieving the goals that they have for themselves. You want to be good at things straight out of the gate. And I get it. Failure sucks. It can feel embarrassing. It can feel disappointing. It can hurt our ego. It can trip up our confidence. It can rock our belief in ourselves. I understand. I have failed a million times over and over and over again. But what I know to be true is that the people who are the most successful in life are the people who are failing the most frequently. So I don't just want you to embrace and accept failure. Yes, do those things. But additionally, I want you to actually invite failure in this year and be willing to say, I am going to go out and I'm going to do things that I have never done before without the expectation that I'm going to be good at it straight out of the gate, without the expectation that it's going to go easy breezy cover girl, without the expectation that it's going to be simple and flawless and I'm going to win immediately. Most people who are starting things in life for the first time, it doesn't look pretty. It looks messy. It looks chaotic. It includes failure. And if you really want 2026 to be the year that you achieve things that you don't have right now, you've got to put yourself out there and do that. You've got to be willing to say, I'm going to fail, and that's okay. I'm going to accept it. I'm going to embrace it, and I'm going to invite it in, because the more I fail, the more I win. Do you believe that? Can you believe that mantra in your life, that the more you fail, the more you win? If you can get behind that belief, you're going to be so much more willing to fail in your life. And because of that, you're going to become so much more successful. And the fourth thing that we need to do if we want to make 2026 different, and this goes right in hand with embracing, accepting, and inviting failure in, is we have to get comfortable sitting in discomfort. Truly, it is my belief that if we want to be successful, we have to learn to sit with the discomfort that comes with it. It is truly my belief that our ability to grow and change and succeed in life is directly proportionate to how comfortable we can be sitting in discomfort. If you have the belief that it is going to feel easy to achieve the things that you want, if you have the belief that it's going to feel comfortable to achieve the things that you want, if you have the belief that there are going to be no hardships and you're not going to feel any growing pains, you're being naive. Because the truth and reality is changing your life, transforming your life, achieving things that you have yet to achieve, having things that you have never experienced before, it is going to be uncomfortable. It's not going to feel good all of the time. And I lived with this belief for so many years of my life that if things aren't easy for me, then those things aren't meant for me, and I'm just not supposed to have them. But how naive of me and how ignorant of me to believe that success is just supposed to be dropped in my lap and I'm just supposed to be handed on a silver platter the things that I want. That's not the way that life works. If you truly care about the things that you say that you want in your life, can you decide that you are willing to be uncomfortable in order to achieve them? And I think it's important for me to note that stepping outside of your comfort zone doesn't necessarily mean that you need to put yourself in harm's way or danger. If you imagine your comfort zone as a tiny little circle, you are capable of taking one step right outside of the comfort zone. I'm not asking you to go to the ends of the earth and do things that are just absolutely terrifying. I've used this example before and I'll share it with you now. It's like when I started speaking, you might be surprised, maybe you're not surprised. I'm actually such a shy person. Public speaking is literally my biggest fear. The idea right now of even sitting behind a camera and being on screen for people to watch still at times makes my stomach a little bit queasy. But I don't believe that if I want to be a motivational speaker, a professional speaker, I didn't have the belief that as soon as I wrote a keynote speech, I would be on a stage in front of 10,000 people. I decided to put myself in a room of 10 people, and I realized it's okay. I'm safe in front of 10 people. And then a couple months later, I can sit in a room in front of 50 people. And then a couple of months later, I can sit in a room in front of 100 people, and then 200, and then 500, and then 1,000, and then 10,000, and then 20,000. I grow in my capacity to handle what feels uncomfortable. The more uncomfortable I am, and the more I see that it's okay for me to be uncomfortable, the more I can see that I am safe on the other side of doing these things that scare me. So I'm not saying go leaps and bounds to the ends of the earth and do the things that absolutely terrify you. Sure, you can if you're brave enough and courageous enough. But if you're a woman like me who has struggled with being seen, putting herself out there, being uncomfortable, facing failure, then that's going to feel really, really intimidating. You don't have to change your life from 0 to 1,000 overnight. You just have to change it from 0 to 1. And then next week, change it from 1 to 2. And then the following week, change it from 2 to 3, and then 3 to 4. And eventually you will grow into being the woman that you want to be, but not if you continue to live in this bubble of comfort that is keeping you exactly where you are. It is normal to feel scared. It is normal to feel afraid. It is normal to feel discomfort. You can get used to feeling that discomfort through experiencing it more frequently. So this year, if you want to achieve the things that you say that you want so badly, let's invite the failure in and embrace the discomfort that comes along with it. And the fifth and final thing that I deeply believe we need to do not just this year, but for the remainder of our lives, I want us to work on this together. I want us to let go of the expectation that we are going to be perfect, look perfect, act perfect, or things are going to go perfectly for us. My perfectionism was such a sabotage for me in my life, such an excuse for me to not show up and execute on taking the steps towards being who I wanted to be and achieving what I wanted to achieve. Even now, I said this as Oz was setting this up for me. I said, I cannot believe that my first solo podcast episode I am doing in a ponytail. If y'all know me, you know my relationship with the ponytail. When I was a little girl, my stepsister said to me, we were in the pool, and my stepsister said to me, you look like a boy with your hair pulled back like that. And that's literally a thought that lives on repeat in my mind. Anytime I put my hair into a ponytail, like, girl, how could I ever look like a boy? Are you kidding me? But still, that thought plays in my mind. And as I'm preparing to sit down today and record, I'm like, my hair is dirty. I cannot wear my hair down. It's just not going to be cute. So I'm going to put my hair into a ponytail. Is this my favorite look? Do I think that I look my best? No, I don't. But I am not going to allow good to be the enemy of great. I am not going to allow myself to stand in my way of success in executing on doing the things that I know I want to do for myself, that I know are important, that I know are valuable, because I'm afraid that I don't look perfect to the world outside of me. And the truth and reality is, perfect doesn't actually exist. Maybe you watch and you're like, damn, I love Jessica with a ponytail. Maybe you're watching and you're like, doesn't matter what your hairstyle is, you look far from perfect. People are going to have different opinions of you. The opinion that you have of yourself is the one that matters the most, but we have to be very careful in making sure that we don't have this expectation that we are going to be perfect and look perfect all of the time. And as soon as we don't, that means that we can't do what we said we were going to do. Perfectionism is sabotaging your success. You're never going to be perfect. You're never going to look perfect. It is never going to be perfect. What matters the most is that you execute on doing the things that you want to do for yourself, despite it being imperfect, because it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, if you have goals and dreams that want to be pursued and want to be achieved, they're worth showing up for, even if you can't do so perfectly. Okay. I want 2026 to be different for me. My God, I want 2026 to be different for me. And I want it to be different for you as well. And I know that this year can bring everything we want it to bring if we are willing to embrace these 5 things, if we're willing to make these simple changes, manage your catastrophic thinking, accept the duality that exists in life, invite failure in, sit in the discomfort, and let go of your need to be perfect or look perfect. Okay. I love you guys so much. I'm so excited that you are just as excited as I am that we have the Queen of Pep Talks on video now. I hope that you will like and that you will subscribe and that you will comment. This is such an amazing way for me to get to actually interact with those of you who listen to the Queen of Pep Talks podcast on a weekly basis. I hope you know that I am so appreciative of you. I love you so, so much. I hope you have such an amazing week, and I'll talk to you next Wednesday on a brand new episode of the Queen of Pep Talks podcast. See you guys.